Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Aldas, and in this video I've got another special kind of collaboration for you guys. It's the second one on my channel and kind of part two to my collaboration series that I've started recently. Of course, the first one was with Tomo, so definitely go check that out. It was on Fernando Alonso and it was so much fun. And as I kind of said at the start of 2020, I really do want to do more collaborations, and today, as I said, is another special video. So I'm just gonna bring him in. Say hello guys to Josh. Josh,
how are we doing, guys?
So yeah, there you go, guys. So it's a pretty special one because Josh actually lives in New Zealand. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. And by the way, now straight away, if you're kind of watching this video, the lighting situation is a little bit strange because due to the time difference, yeah, it's kind of like a 12 to 13. What's the time difference actually over there, Josh, over in New Zealand?
I think it's 12, 13, 11. Between 11, 12 and 13 hours, it's messed up.
Yeah. So if
one of us is seeing daylight, the other one is seeing darkness.
Yeah, so the people literally, if they're watching me now, they're seeing just an absolute, like, it's completely dark outside. So this is the lighting situation. I'm literally in my kitchen. But nevertheless, we are going to get through it and it should be a very fun video. So yeah, in this video, we're going to be talking about basically looking ahead at the brand new 2020 season. Now, obviously, at the moment, coming from testing, Lewis Hamilton is looking pretty strong, and he is obviously going to be the favourite, as most people probably have noticed, to win the 2020 World Championship. But today, me and Josh are going to talk about who could actually stop Lewis Hamilton. Now, obviously, we have a bunch of young talent. We obviously have Valtteri Bottas as well, and that is kind of, we're just going to be having a discussion. Who can actually challenge Lewis Hamilton for the 2020 World Championship and maybe even take it away from him? So, yeah, let's get straight into it. Now, obviously, Josh, I'm pretty sure you're probably thinking the same thing. Lewis Hamilton, do you think he's the favourite going into the 2020 season?
I mean, obviously, he's a defending champion, and, you know, as we saw in preseason testing, it's just ridiculous how planted that Ferrari looks. It's just... Ferrari. What am I saying? It's too early here for me. Mercedes. There we go. Got that done. Yeah, that Mercedes just looks awesome this year. You know, Hamilton obviously the past few seasons has been the benchmark driver. And you know, I don't think the rivals have necessarily stepped up as they probably should have. Whether that's Red Bull not quite having the power unit they need, and mismanagement depending upon what camp you're in, and Ferrari being themselves, you know, and screwing things up for themselves. Meanwhile, Mercedes just is a well-oiled machine, and it just continues to win all these accolades. And of course, you got Hamilton in there, as I said before, who's been the benchmark driver. So it's just been an dominant force in the past few seasons, and I don't see that changing at all this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think really we're in for another year of Hamilton winning, matching Schumacher's win and championship record, which I'm sure is going to go down well like a nice cup of sick for most people on F1 Twitter.
I mean, we know what Verstappen fans are like. What are Schumacher and Ferrari fans like? I mean, it's kind of a different level in my opinion.
Well, I mean, for example, if you would have someone say, "Oh, my club is better than yours," to a Manchester United fan,
yeah,
you know how that was going to be greeted. So, you know.
Yeah. So, obviously, looking at 2020, like I said, we know Lewis is the favourite, but do you think there's anyone that can stop him? And I suppose we're going to start off straight away with this video talking about, I suppose, first of all, his teammate, Valtteri Bottas, because I do think he had a very good 2020 season. I mean, he definitely had a better season than he did in 2018. Yeah, he had a very good 2019 season, definitely compared to 2018. But do you think he's going to be able to step up yet again in 2020, considering he's kind of fighting for his seat? Because he's only got that 1 year extension. Do you think Mercedes are going to be kind of forced into signing him again, or will he be able to step up and maybe take this title away from Lewis Hamilton? So he's obviously in the same car as Lewis, and how many times have we heard in the past, like 6 years, Hamilton's only winning because of the car? Well, he's still got a teammate to beat, and Valtteri Bottas is no mug. He's a very good driver, maybe not as consistent, but what do you think Valtteri needs to do to even have a tiny hope of beating Lewis Hamilton, certainly the way they've been over the past few years?
Well, I mean, you just quickly get into the only winning because he had the best car. At what point during this history has that not been the case? Come on, this is Formula One. best car and driver win the dais. With Bottas, he's obviously got the Mercedes machinery, supposedly equal machinery as Hamilton, but Hamilton could just dismantle the drivers. We've seen him do that time and time and time again, except for that brief period in between, in 2011, for example, where he just did not have a good season.
He's literally had, I think he's only had like 2 seasons where he's been beaten by a teammate, and that was, I think, 2011 with Jenson Button and 2016. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous to even think about.
Yeah, it is, and that again is prime example of what I'm talking about. It's just that he's always a driver that just knows how to beat his teammates. And so with Bottas, he has to do the same thing of which Rosberg did. Because beating Hamilton's not going to be like beating him in 2011. Where in 2011, he just made things difficult for himself. He's not going to do that this time. He's a smarter driver.
Yeah.
Rosberg managed to do it in 2016. Some may say, that's only because half of Hamilton's engines ended up in pieces down on the side of the track. Doesn't matter. Reliability is part and parcel of motorsport.
And I think actually with the Rosberg thing, when you look at their time over the 3 years, it's not like Rosberg had a clean kind of health of reliability. I mean, there was loads of times, I think it was in 2014 in Abu Dhabi in the season finale where he broke down as well. And then 2015 was another horrible year. So that 2016 reliability argument with Hamilton, that doesn't stick with me, to be honest. I feel like Rosberg over the 3 years deserved one of those titles.
Absolutely, yes. So the question, and I mean, there was always going to be the possibility of him winning it. 2014 he was in the title hunt back when they had the stupid double points stuff, but that's another story.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about that.
Some parts of history you just don't want to remember. But yeah, he almost had a chance to win it then. He won in 2016. He was always sort of in the title fight, and people say, he wasn't that great a driver. You're kidding yourselves here.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Rosberg
is the guy was always a decent pedaler.
Oh, for sure. I mean, do you remember when Michael Schumacher first came in 2010 and people thought he's going to smash Nico Rosberg, kind of completely wipe the floor with him, and it definitely didn't turn out that way, did it?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, yeah, again, you got to be careful about what we say about King Michael.
Oh, yeah, here we go, the Ferrari fans.
With what Tomo said in the last video, I don't think the boundaries have been pushed too far so far.
Not yet. We'll see how the 2020 season kind of pans out. So with Valtteri, it's obviously going to be, with Bottas, it's going to be very difficult. What do you think about Charles Leclerc and those Ferraris? Because certainly in testing, it hasn't exactly started off very smoothly. I mean, I know there's a whole thing about sandbagging. I don't think number one that Vettel is going to be able to beat Hamilton. He had a chance in 2017 and 18, and it didn't happen. But what do you think about Charles Leclerc and where Ferrari are at the moment and their chances in 2020 to maybe kind of take Hamilton off his throne?
Doesn't look good. I mean, I don't think Ferrari are looking particularly good this year. Yeah, people say, this is pre-season testing and all this stuff. Yeah, but it gives you some sort of indicator.
There's very good reason why.
Even besides,
there's a very good reason why Williams, even though it is testing, there's a very good reason why Haas and Williams did not post the quickest time or even up in the top 3.
Yeah, and I rate Charles Leclerc very, very highly. One of my favourite drivers, just because he's just extremely fast pedaler.
He's bloody quick, isn't he? Yeah.
He's quick, yeah. I mean, for me, one of the most memorable sort of seasons of watching motorsport was his Formula 2 season. Because that was just... He just looked the class of the field. Then came in with Alfa Romeo, Sauber, whatever the heck they're calling themselves now.
He did a number on Marcus Ericsson, that's for sure.
That's not hard.
Yeah. Anyway, there goes all my Scandinavian fans as well. Okay, see you later.
Oh well, he'll do decently in IndyCar with that obscure sponsor Husky. I mean, jeez. But that's another story. Again, let's get back on track. So I think with Leclerc, I don't have any doubt in regard. I mean, he's won. Was it 3 Grand Prix so far?
I think so, yeah. Was it 7 pole positions or was it 6? I think it was 7 actually in the end. 7 poles in the end, or something like that.
Which against Mercedes is pretty damn good.
Yeah, and considering Hamilton
especially in your debut season for the Scuderia, when the Italians were actually acknowledging the fact, okay, you're the lapdog. Old Seb here is our chosen boy for the championship. And it's that Ferrari mentality of always choosing a driver, which is going to hamper them, because they either need, if they got 2 drivers like they do now with Vettel and Leclerc, which are world class, then they need to allow those two to race and do as well as they can, rather than sacrificing one, or pick one of those drivers and bring in a slave for the second driver thing, like they did before.
Barrichello, anyone?
Which tended to work. Yes, but I mean, I'm just concerned because the last time that Ferrari had 2 world-class drivers and let them race, it didn't end very well. That was 1982, and ironically, they got the same the same font style for the season.
Yeah, they went with their retro numbers, didn't they?
Drivers, I don't want both those drivers ending up like they did in '82. That would be not extremely good. So
what do you think it's going to take for Leclerc to make that even bigger jump up? And by the way, considering it was his second season in Formula One, the first at Ferrari, it was really impressive, no doubt. But what is it going to take for him to really make that jump up, to get up to Lewis Hamilton's level, or even try to beat him? Because as I said, it certainly hasn't started well, but I suppose that it's not impossible, obviously, for 2020.
I think really, as I said before, the problem really is that the is it the SF1000? Yeah, the SF1000 just doesn't look good, as I said before. And Matteo Binotto, the first team principal in Ferrari's history to come in with actually literally no balls, is outright said, we're just not in the fastest car, we're not in the car that's going to win in Melbourne. And if you're outright going to say that, then that's a horrible thing to say. If you've outright
how does it make the rest of the team
in
feel?
Your car.
Yeah, how does it make the rest of the team feel? And I mean, Mercedes are just the problem with Mercedes is that with the whole DAS thing as well, we're going into 2020, a season that they shouldn't even really care about that much. They've won everything to win in the hybrid era, and still in the final season of a regulation period, they're still inventing new things for their car, and they're still pushing to the max. And the way they've started and the way Ferrari have started, it's completely opposite to 2019. So it certainly looks scary, but they're gonna have to do something with that car to at least get it closer to Mercedes, certainly from what we can see in pre-season testing, to even get it close for Leclerc to challenge for that title.
Adapt or die.
Yeah.
It's difficult to fathom. Just Ferrari completely shitting themselves in the foot, and they've done it again. With Vettel, I do not believe that he's done, as many other people were saying. I do think there's life in the four-time champion, but there were too many mistakes last year, and Ferrari's sort of dependence on him, labelling him as the first driver, to be making those types of mistakes. And I mean, so early.
In the second race, in Bahrain.
Being threatened by Leclerc. I'm not going to say he was outpaced necessarily.
Yeah.
But he definitely was threatened by Leclerc so early on. And that's got to, I'm not saying they'd hate each other, because they don't, because we watch Drive to Survive. But it certainly would make him think, fuck's sake, what do I do now?
Do you think this is kind of what we saw when he was against Ricciardo in 2014 in that Red Bull? Is it kind of similar? Because to me, Sebastian Vettel, he'll always have the speed, and even last year he was very good, and he was unlucky with reliability. He definitely had worse reliability than Leclerc. But even as a four-time world champion against someone who is in their first year at Ferrari, he should have smashed Leclerc. And the mistakes that he was making yet again, and the mission spin now, memes were all over the place with Sebastian Vettel. I mean, there was Italy, and then there was Bahrain as well, and those were really big occasions. He could have won in Bahrain, and obviously in Monza, that is the last place you want to be seen making a mistake while your teammate was going off and winning the race. So I think for me, Vettel, he's not done in terms of the speed that he has, but in my opinion, he is done in terms of winning titles or even challenging for titles.
Theoretically, never say never.
Yeah, you're right.
But, realistically, Ferrari this year are not looking too good. I think there may be improvements during the year which will help them out, maybe, but the focus should now switch to 2021. Because I know Racing Point, soon to be Aston Martin Racing, are already said will struggle to develop the car after the first upgrade, and that says to me they've shifted all their focus toward next year, and with the momentum that they've got, you got to say it's looking pretty damn good for Team Stroll.
Yeah, I mean, is Lance Stroll going to be the 2020 world champion? We can't say no. The maths, it could happen. You never know. But yeah, certainly, I think Racing Point, they're definitely a team I want to talk about more in another video just before the season starts, because I think they're going to be good, like especially at the start of the season. But in terms of Ferrari, obviously we've said that Ferrari, they're going to struggle unless they have a massive kind of development and maybe make massive gains on their car. It's going to be difficult for them. So the final team, I suppose, is Red Bull. Now, they are a team I'm very excited about. No offense to Alexander Albon, I don't think he's going to be challenging for titles in 2020, but Max Verstappen, after that season he had in 2019, yet again kind of carrying Red Bull to where they were, what do you think are his chances? And is he kind of the best challenger to Hamilton in 2020?
Outside Mercedes, yeah. And this isn't to win favour with the Dutch fans.
Of course not.
And some people will say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." Well, I mean, hey, at the end of the day, I'm the one with 52,000 subs, and you're the one just writing a comment on YouTube. So go ahead, use me all you want.
I like that.
Sorry to be a bit pompous here, but at the end of the day, Aldas and I are the ones that are actually successful and actually have valid opinions. So
we're the only ones that matter, guys.
Oh man, the
internet's gonna love us, aren't they?
I had to take a shot. Anyways, I don't mean that. I love you all. So anyway, getting back on track before I start abusing more people. Now, Verstappen has come on leaps and bounds from 2018, where he was just really not in a good place. Start of 2018 anyway. And truthfully, most other Red Bull drivers would have been demoted down to Toro Rosso, now AlphaTauri, by that stage. But since then he's developed his racecraft. He's still an aggressive driver, but he can do it now without flinging himself into a wall, which is great. And of course, he's rapid. He'll have the support of Red Bull behind him because of his marquee value, but also because, some people are looking at him in the same light as greats that have come before in the past. Is he one of those greats? Not for me to say, and honestly, it's going to be a few years before we get to that stage.
Yeah, it's too early, especially the way especially his first 3 or 4 years. I think we get wowed by some of the big results that he had, like in Brazil in 2016, but he has had a lot of maturing to do. But I've got to admit, 2019 was a massive year for him, certainly on a skill level and consistency, more than anything else, because Hamilton is ridiculously consistent. I think people forget, he scored points in every single race in 2019. That just speaks for itself. He was the only driver to do that, but I think Max Verstappen is very, very close to that level.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And it's for that reason, again, being rapid, being consistent, having the aggressive traits of someone who can be a world champion, should be a world champion, and who I think will be a world champion if he gets the car.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily think this car this year is very good. I think the Honda power unit is now to a level where it can be competitive.
Yeah. I'm
not saying it's faster than Mercedes or Ferrari, although Ferrari's power unit last year is a bit...
let's just... Oh, here we go. We're going to have the lawyers on the phone soon. They're going to be calling Ferraris like, yeah, it's legal. But what do you... So do you not think that Red Bull will be able to, yet again, they won't be able to deliver him a good enough car to even challenge for the title, let alone win it?
It just looks unstable at the rear. And I know Verstappen was saying, I'm exploring the limits. There were a lot of spins. Not just by him, but Albon. throughout the entire preseason testing. And if you look at how the thing was reacting at the rear in the turn-in, does not look very encouraging from my point of view when I look at it. It looks like a car that will just, snap on you. And you don't want that, of course, when you're pushing the limits, when you're trying to beat the Mercedes, which this year, good lord, is faster than last year.
Yeah.
And,
which I can't believe that's even possible, to be fair.
Well, 2004 rocked around. Everyone was like, how can Ferrari be faster? Well, they were by a long way.
Yeah.
It just the teams that are on it, they have the great personnel that are, held together, steadfast, that have great drivers with great input. They'll always, rise to the top. And with Red Bull, I think they got most of their ingredients there. People say it's a toxic environment or whatever. No, what's Drive to Survive? A toxic environment is Haas.
I don't think Red Bull is a toxic environment at all. I think if your driver like Pierre Gasly doesn't deliver, what are you going to do? Just let him run around in 7th and 8th all season? I think what they did was harsh, but it was fair. The one thing I didn't like is that Helmut Marko last season was saying, Pierre Gasly, of course his seat is safe. Of course he's going to be in that car after the summer break. And then literally like a week later, he's gone. So
the same with Kvyat after the Russian Grand Prix. Oh no, Kvyat's still on the seat. 3 days later, Max Verstappen promoted up there. So all's rule of thumb. Whatever Marco says is a lie. But and especially as well next year, he's saying I'm not going to hire any more Red Bull dropouts. You watch Dan Ticktum put up into AlphaTauri next year. Yeah. You heard it here first.
You heard it. There we go. Dan Ticktum to AlphaTauri for 2021. So who do you think, one driver answer, if anyone can, and obviously it's almost looking less likely by the second that Lewis Hamilton will not be the 2020 World Champion. But out of all the drivers we've discussed, who is that one driver that you think has the biggest chance of knocking Lewis Hamilton off his throne and winning that 2020 World title?
I go with Max. Honestly.
Yeah.
He'll have the resources behind him, as I said, through Red Bull. He's building on everything, year in, year out. Again, much better driver than he was 2 years ago, and we know how good he was last year. So,
and he's only going to get better.
And again, and the Honda power unit's better this year. Yeah, again, car looks a bit unstable at the rear end, but of course they should have gone back to Milton Keynes and said, okay, here's the focus. We need to get this sorted before we get to Melbourne. Or at the very least, get an upgrade package which is going to solve this by the time, 3-4 rounds, whatever it is, into the season. But yeah, I just can't see Bottas mustering much of a challenge, because even at the stages last year where he was on it, it was in flashes.
Yeah,
one great race, 3 average ones. I don't think that's changing this year. Could be wrong. Hope I am.
Yeah, well, no, for sure. I know exactly what you mean. And to be honest, what I predicted for my season predictions of the Drivers' Championship, I said the exact same. I predicted Hamilton to be the world champion, and in second place, Max Verstappen. He's the only person. Bottas, he doesn't have the consistency. We saw flashes of brilliance from Bottas in 2019, no doubt, but Max Verstappen is the only one at the moment that, in my opinion, can challenge. I agree, 100% with you. It all depends on how Red Bull, what car they're going to bring to Australia from the start of the season, because once Lewis Hamilton has the lead in the Drivers' Championship after 2 or 3 races, I definitely do not see him losing it, and that is why Red Bull just have to come out basically just guns blazing at the start of the season. Well, I'm going to end it off here. It was really cool talking to you. What did you think? Did you enjoy your time on the channel?
Absolutely, man. As I've been saying to you before, just you're always a channel that I thought 33, 34 thousand subs at the time. That's my benchmark.
Wow, thank you.
Of course, watch your channel for the longest time.
Thank you, thank you, man.
To be on sort of your channel now, if if I can get on the Joe Rogan podcast, then my life is absolutely complete. But yeah, ticking off life goals one by one.
That is some pretty high praise right there. Well, again, I mean, you've got a great channel as well. I'm sure you guys have been to it, but if you have not, of course, his link will be in the at the top of the description. So definitely go drop him a sub. We are going to do more collaborations. We were talking behind the scenes quite a bit about Lance Stroll and Racing Point. So maybe perhaps a video coming out on Racing Point and Lance Stroll in it soon. But yeah, again, man, thank you so much appearing on the channel, and yeah, hopefully see you. Hopefully we'll do some more videos in the future for sure.
Absolutely, man.
Okay, well, there you go, guys. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, then don't forget to drop a like and smash that subscribe button as well. This is kind of obviously kind of a brand new series, but not really, because I haven't even had any collaborations on my channel in like a year since I did the channel. But obviously this Unfiltered debate series is one that I want to do more and more, and I've got a whole bunch of really cool guests hopefully coming on over 2020. But again, I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, yeah, drop a like, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.